Hello and welcome to the Man Cave and Agatebay YouTube channel. Today I have something pretty special. Malawi is one of the countries I've been investing a lot of time and money in the probably last 8 years or so. I reactivated the mining area in, I think it was 2016, and started mining some deposits that have never been mined before. And one of the locations is the Alimajo deposit. The original Alimajo pit was only about the size of a soccer field. We went to areas that are around there, and for example we found in a riverbed that was maybe about a mile away from the original pit, we found some larger sized nodules that share a lot of the same features with the original pit. So they also have the typical super strong yellow and red colors, but also in larger size, and they typically also have more moss inclusions, so a less agate part in the nodules. And in a different area we've been trenching out an area to scout if there's more good agates there, but the yield of agates in comparison to the soil and host rock was a lot smaller than to the beginning area. And in this area where we've been digging the trench to scout the area, the nodules are also much darker on their husk. So this one's almost black in comparison to most of the Alimajos, which are like more in a darker brown. This is already a little oiled up, so it looks darker than usual, but you can see the differences in even just looking at the husk. But these are very close by from pretty much the same mining place, I would call it. And then this is something completely else. This is something so rare and unique, you hardly ever get to see it. So these are only segments of a large sized cavity, but formed with tubes. And if I cut them in a cross angle, they will be forming eyes. So stay tuned and see what's hiding inside of these. Typically these Alimajo finds from the riverbed about a mile out. Here you can see this area here has been entirely recrystallized with, it seems like, a quartz or calcite layer on top of the window, but just incredible colors, as you can see. And also here on the back side you can see the window just extends beautifully. Okay, I'm just leaving about a millimeter of room to the window here on that side and cutting right next to the window on this side. Oh yes. Oh yes. It turned out really fantastic. Look at this amazing contrast of the dark chalcedony surrounding this super intense orange center. And I would say it has more contrast with this kind of dark, almost, yeah, dark brown chalcedony than most Alimajo agates, but also they have just such a big variety in colors that I wouldn't really say this is like much of a different agate, because the orange in the center is, yeah, pretty much the same color like you will find it at the main side of the Alimajo place as well. So this is the second half of the Alimajo agate specimen. You can see here's the same window as in the other half, but it changes. Here you can see the orange, and throughout the agate it changes to a much more vivid yellow color, which of course I like a little more. Yellow is my favorite color, so I would try to stay closer to this area here. There's a very shallow angle, or very small angle, that I can cut it through here next to this window, up here to this window, then here next to this window, so in between just this very small area here. But I think it's sitting in there just about perfect. The cut angle is just not as center, you know, just hitting the banding in a little bit less contrasting angle. Also, unfortunately, the yellow I was hoping to get yeah, stayed more orange in the center, so the colorization is pretty much the same as in the other half. However, it did develop a fracture here on the side. A big bonus point, however, is that it does have a pretty dark amethyst core in the center, which is just pretty rare at any of those Alimajo agates. So I would say that's the up point, but I certainly like the other half better still. This is the last one from the river sublocality, and I can already spot another fine fracture down here. There's a little fracture running through the face. And it only has two windows, the one up top here and here, with just incredible colors, but I assume the entire bottom part of the nodule like this is going to be filled with this kind of carbonate sedimentation. It's going to be a difficult cut because of this broken section. I can't cut it lengthwise. And here's the fracturing line, so we're just going to miss that by a little bit. Here's the window I've been talking about, also just miss it by a little bit. So we're all good to go. And I just love having this saw and being able to see it from all the different angles after clamping it in. Oh, wow. Whew. Wow, a lot better than I thought. I was afraid it would only mostly have down here this carbonated area, but look at that! Incredible yellow color with the orange, amethyst in the center. I don't see any fractures, so this is a really high-end agate. Here in the other half you can see there's like a slight bit of fracturing. Let's just see how much it will be visible after the polishing, but right now I'm very pleased with this specimen here. This is the piece here from the area that we've been trenching out and trying to find more pieces. This was one of the biggest ones we found there. And you can see a beautiful window over here to this side, little one over here and a little one over here. Usually I don't cut lengthwise, but I think here with this specimen it makes the most sense. So we're going from here next to this window all the way across over this bump and then coming back out here where the window was. Yeah, sitting in there all perfectly with the lengthwise cut. Let's see what's coming out of this beauty. Oh, wow. Such a high yield of amethyst is really unusual for this locality. And I have actually a customer who specialized in displaying a lot of the agates he's buying from me as butterflies. So if they have like this kind of elongated shape, this is a perfect fit for a butterfly looking collection. And I think it's also just a very cute way to display the pieces. It's a lot better than I expected. Beautiful colorization, great translucency in the rim area. Up here a little flow channel even. Beautiful specimen. This is an absolutely incredible looking piece. The window has to be one of the best I've ever seen in any of the Alimajo agates. This is from the classic location, so this is one of the Alimajo XL pieces. Huge size specimen for the locality since most of these are smaller than 2 inches. But not just the window, it opens up to some quartz here, like a flow channel with quartz, and I see there's a fracturing line going here. So all of this area here is pretty much a no-go. So I will go for a very small cut from the corner of this window right here, all across here, and then right down here in between these two windows, next to this window down here. I will go through this fracture line because I just have no other way, and then coming back up to this initial first window. I think there may be some fractures, but of course, I'm hoping there won't. Oh. It's always a little heartbreaking when you see those perfectly windowed pieces. I mean, the potential was really one of the best agates I've ever seen from the Alimajo location, but it's not been holding up anywhere close to what I was hoping for. Incredible colors and symmetry in this specimen, just flawed with a couple of those fractures, so it's just not going to be a very valuable piece. I don't know if I'm going to get it polished yet or not. I mean, the colors are pretty intense and just a gorgeous piece. I'll think about it and figure it out. Now we are only left with these beautiful eye agate specimens. I also can see it's going to have a couple fractures, and that's totally normal because these have been exposed to nature and the surface for so many, probably millions of years. You can see one of the stalactites or tubes is broken off here, so I'm just going to cut above that so I can include this little eye here, and then cut once across here like this and get 2 nice halves out of this. And ready to go! Oh yes. Wow! Just absolutely gorgeous colors in this piece. Look at the eyes with the yellow, the blue, the red, the white. Just gorgeous colorization. Just a lot of these tiny little fractures that are in between there. Yeah, I'm curious to see how much they will be visible after polishing, but I'm certainly getting this polished and you will see it all polished and nice at the end of this video. This is the second one of the tube specimens, and I think it's probably also going to have some fractures just being exposed for such a long time. You can see some of them run across up top here, but all of the areas, I mean, it must have been broken because of some of those natural fracturing lines. I will probably cut it further down here at the bottom just because most of the eyes will be concentrating closer to the origin of the tubes. So I'm just going to cut once across here like this. All clamped in nicely. Oh, yeah. Another beautiful piece, especially with the white outlining the entire specimen and adding the contrast in the different corners. Also this one here, I can see has a few smaller fractures. I think also I probably like the first one a little bit more just because the tubes, they were all separated from each other, and here there's like a little bit of intergrown tube action just because they are too close to each other to be separated. And Yeah, but otherwise still beautiful colors, beautiful contrast, great eyes, nice specimen right here. This is the last one of the 2 pieces, and I'm also just gonna cut it through the biggest volume and relatively close to this area. So just at the top of this stalactite across here, and then once all the way around, cutting the last specimen of the batch. Beautiful eyes in this piece as well. Again, here a few fractures, but the eyes are much more separated, so you have just a ton of these freestanding eyes. And like I said, these are just so rare to get. It's really one of probably 3 pieces out of several thousand pieces that even have the potential to cut eyes like this. So this is a very rare opportunity to cut on any of these specimens. Here we are, the 9 Malawi agate specimens have been cut. And overall, I'm very pleased with this lot. I mean, this is way above average of what you can regularly see of any of the Malawi agates anywhere, with a specific history of a lot of these pieces. A lot of very rare finds, the few pieces from the river, the one from the trench duck, and I'm just a little frustrated with the fractured piece, but overall I think I can be very grateful with all of these pieces. They're going to be available on my website as you're watching this video. There's also a sales section where you can shop for already discounted pieces, and you will get a 20% discount on top, also for the on-sale pieces if you purchase more than 10 specimens at once. So there's great deals to be made of very rare specimens. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. Maybe you want to get your own Malawi agates to cut. You can find them in the rough stone section of my website as well, and get some of these fabulous agates and some fun to cut these specimens, and maybe add a couple to your collection. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet, and enjoy the content I'm making. Leave it a thumbs up and a comment as well under the video of which is your favorite of the batch. I have a hard time picking a favorite from this one, so let me know what's yours. I know. After watching this video, you probably all want to cut your own Malawi agates, and the good news is you can. We have a variety of different Malawi types in stock. All of these have been exported out of Malawi almost 2 years ago, because there is an export ban in effect that prevents any further export from the country. However, we do have a Malawi mix, which is different locations mixed together. So this is from the early times when they have been mined. So there is some Alimajo in here, there's some 1970s like this one in here, there's some Gambiri and some other surface found material. So this is a mix of different localities that we sell. And specifically for the drop of this video, since I've been showing some more insights into the Alimajo location, we are doing one more drop here this year. Just for 1 week, these are going to be available, and that's going to be the Alimajo XL. It is the absolute top seller for Malawi agates, the highest quality of material that's ever been on market coming out of Malawi. My favorite location in terms of color variety and everything. And now we have already pre-bagged 108 kilos of this material. We have some 5 kilo lots, we have some 10 kilo lots, and we have the 1 kilo lots, which you can see up here. They typically are in a size of about 1.5 to 2.5 inches, while the regular Alimajo pieces are more in a size of about 1 to 1.5 inches. So here you have the direct size comparison between the XL and the regular Alimajo pieces. We also only have 2 more bags of the 1970s premium material available, where you will get a free cut piece with your order as well. With any Malawi rough order that we get within the next 7 days, I will be putting 1 extra little cut Malawi agate into those packages. Now, these are not super valuable pieces, but I think they're just like a fun little extra incentive for you to get your fix with Malawi agates. And if you don't want to cut but only polish, we will also have these up and available as batches for you to do your own lapidary work on them. And also we only have 1 box left here of the Gambiri XL material. After that, we're also entirely sold out of the Gambiri XL. Most of the Malawi agates we will keep up on the website, but the Alimajo XL will only be here for the 1 week drop. If we don't sell out entirely, we will just take them off, because there's just not that much that we still have left. I hope you'll have some cutting fun yourself, and I'll see you again next week.